Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
See Robin pop in there as well.
Yeah.
For those of you wanting to know who I am, my personal life, I've had weird messages as well. Someone asking me, what is my real name? You're not going to get my real name. It's Evil Knievel. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm going to just go, hey, here's my name, address, social security number, date of birth. Like, come on,
this is where I work, and I sell containers.
Exactly. And then on top of it, you're asking who my band is. My band is Steel Piston. When Neely left Steel Piston,
right. Now you're the bass player.
We carried on. And so if you want to check it out, get on the internet and search up Steel Piston and enjoy. So, yeah.
Right. Oh, boy. That is funny. Yeah. So they're missing out on a lot of potential content because you'd have Tim James call once, if not twice, a show, and he kept things going. He actually provided them with content, and they don't have that.
And again, I don't understand why a business transaction regarding whatever you were doing with Braverman equals he can't give his once-a-month call of craziness. These are the things that spiced up your show. Now, if you're going to get Florentine, well, cool. Well, then get Florentine on a landline from a hotel on whatever and make it sound right and have him in there, or get someone else. I don't understand. We are not going to go on your show and bug you. You've removed the opportunity for any interaction at all. We were never going to do that in the first place, other than be in your chat room to chat with the other people who are CMSers, but that was not allowed. So cool. We're moving on. It's actually motivated Evil to the point where I thought maybe at some point we will do a CMS Wrap Up Show live, just so other people can chat in there as well. And we won't do what Aiken does, and we'll actually read your chats, whether we like them or not, and interact with you rather than kicking you out because we don't like the fact that you think Blackboard is fucking Thanksgiving hat is the awesomest thing in the world or whatever. So
there was a mention in the chat room about what happened to Barden, and somebody said, well, Aiken told him threw him out, and he's no longer listening to the show. And I'm like, wow, damn it. It'd be nice to get Barden on here. Like I said,
there seems to be a pretty good list of people that fit into that category, whether that's their own choosing or I think, again, Aiken made it pretty clear the last show or two ago where he said, like, I don't care how much you paid me. If you annoy me, you're gone. Okay. Well, that could be you wake up in a bad mood and have one pissy interaction with someone who's normally fine and now they're gone. Okay. I don't understand that, but that's the way he wants. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not the show it was 10, 15 years ago.
And again, it goes back to they say they don't care, and that's showing us that they definitely do, and they're really brittle and frail.
Again, if you're afraid to take phone calls, then you have to be pretty thin-skinned, because, I mean, even when Evil called, what was the worst I said to you? That I'm doing a show and I'm going to be making fun of you being you? I mean, that's pretty much what I told you, right? I said, have you ever heard of Dave Chappelle? Okay. Was he mocking people by being Prince? No, again, I don't dislike CMS in 2010, in 2012, in 2013, and 15 and 16. There was a stretch there where I really enjoyed it. It was probably my top 5 shows that I would listen to all the time. Over the last 5 years, I really think of right before pandemic, towards pandemic till now, it's kind of just not devolved into something that I don't no longer find to be as entertaining. I still listen here and there for our show, and because it is a show that it's kind of like listening to this Howard Stern show. I still listen to the Stern show when it pops on. I know that's random and weird, but when there's something available that's new, I'll check it out and see what it's about because of my nostalgia for what Howard Stern used to be in 1990 or 1995.
Right.
I used to like Howard Stern when he was on the E channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I liked. So, we all have, and no matter how much people can rail on him, he'll still always be probably like in my top 10 radio DJ guys of all time, man. I love listening to old classic Howard Stern. There was times where he just made me fucking laugh. And the people on his show, usually not always him, and this is why he's devolved, but the people he had around him, the people calling in, the Whack Pack, these other guys.
Which is what they've,
for a while.
Can you imagine if Stern back then did something like, well, I'm not going to take any whack pack callers. I mean, that would have
Yeah.
been his
A
show.
death nail. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to
So,
take any more of these porn actresses
well, he
or
kind of
whatever.
has done a little bit of that,
Sure.
but that's why the show is now
Is
devolved to what it is, and now it's just
like,
basically a
yeah, sure.
entertainer interview every fucking show, and they're some band performing in a studio with Howard in his basement. It's like it's no
Right.
more, you know.
Like, he'd always
But
bring in
I
the
But as a loyal Stern fan,
yeah.
when Colt recently played there and Sammy did his thing, right? He
Mm,
went on there and announced he was doing this with Satriani. I watched that because it's
hmm
on Stern and because it's Sammy, and then I'm going to check it out. So
sure.
um, I'm not going to ever say to either Aiken or Wendell I would never listen. I was listening for years, and you guys
Yeah.
never knew who I was. I was never because I didn't care to be. I was just a guy listening, enjoying the show.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So what they're doing is the equivalent of Stern back in the day, um, barring adult actors and whackpackers.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
booting Jackie and
yeah,
Artie, and these
yeah,
people, and then
Artie.
wondering where'd all the jokes go?
Yeah, it's like, what
They left
happened?
out the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
now, don't get me wrong. I think Sal and Richard Christie are funny as well, but
mhm.
their jokes can only go so far. They can only crank call so many people, and then you're like, I got to go to something else. But so hopefully with our show, what we're trying to bring to you, Leigh, is at least we're going to talk about the music. We're going to talk about the CMS, the old days, the new days. We're going to talk
Right.
about music, the main thing that this is all supposed to be about, the thing Ruben likes, the thing that I like, the thing that Andrew likes, even the thing that Neely and Aiken likes, which
Mm.
is the music. It's the bands, it's the rock music, the hard rock, the metal, everything in the genre. So yeah, we're still here to do that. There has been some. I don't know how many CMSers care, but these things that Evil takes note of, because some of these bands are pretty major. I mean, Matt Cameron leaving Pearl Jam, it's
Right.
like saying goodbye to a fucking big paying gig, dude. Like, so is Soundgarden coming
Hmm.
back with some kind of new singer, and is Kim and him
It'll
trying to
be it'll be
revive
that
that?
singer that they tried out. Eek. That
That
was
chick?
awful. Yeah. I don't know
That
that
was
it's going to
not good.
be
No,
her. I don't think it's going to be
that
her.
no. I think
I
that's
wonder
not
if
going to
they'll do
sell.
something goofy, kind of like what that Taylor Hawkins. Maybe they'll bring Cornell's daughter, and she'll be the singer or something.
Yeah, or maybe there's some secret guy out there they found a video of, like
Mm-hmm.
their Arnell Pineda type guy who
Sure.
can just do Cornell like nobody's business. But there has to be a reason, unless he's just made so much money in Pearl Jam and if he wants to hang up the sticks and chill. But he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would do that. And
Yeah.
he doesn't seem like he's got health problems or anything. I just thought, man, you're turning down a big paying gig. Many of you in the CMS world may not like Pearl Jam, but you just go look at the ticket sales and their tours, and you'll see that
That's
they
like
make a lot of money.
that's like stepping down from Motley Crue to playing Dokken.
That's my point. Yeah, you're literally saying goodbye to some zeros on that paycheck and just saying I want to go down. So that's why I thought maybe this is an indication
Right.
maybe that Soundgarden is trying to revive or get a
Sure.
new person in there and continue on, which I wouldn't knock them for doing. Again, they didn't get to choose that Chris
Mm.
came or went. And much like Stone Temple Pilots and some of these other bands, they've been able to survive. I like their new singer guy. I think Stone Temple Pilots
Yeah.
sounds fine with the Jeff Good guy. I would go see that. So it sounds like Stone Temple Pilots. I don't understand. As
Yeah,
long as you're servicing the sound. So
that one I've seen them a couple times with that guy, and yeah, he's a good fit.
yeah. And maybe if you want to hear Stone Temple Pilots music, they're going to give it to you and make it sound like Stone Temple Pilots. So I couldn't. So that's the only thing I could think Matt Cameron would be like walking out of Pearl Jam for. I was like, that's kind of an odd situation. to
Yeah.
step down from.
Reunion with the other guys.
Something has to be going on there. Something's in the works, or maybe just who knows, behind the scenes, maybe there's family life or something that's he made enough dough and he doesn't want to go around riding on a tour bus or fly
Mm.
on there in Pearl Jam's world, flying on jet planes to the next place to play. 2 or 3 nights
Maybe he's
in a
going to
row.
be the new drummer in Chevy Metal.
I don't think he's young enough.
He's not
I
young
think
enough. No,
he's aged
no.
out.
So who do you think is because they're basically a cover band too. Rocket Mafia or Chevy Metal? I mean, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to see Rocket Mafia. At
Same
least
here.
again, I'm not a Ricky Rocket. I'm not
Yeah.
like, but I've seen Poison, and I think Poison puts on a good show. And I could say that Ricky Rocket's a part of that good show. He's the kind of guy who gets
Sure.
on stage with a lot of energy and does the drum shit the way
Mhm.
he's known to do it. So yeah, and does he have they have the Brandon Gibbs or something guy
Yeah,
singing or
right.
yeah, and he always did a good job before with the other projects they were doing. So
Right.
yeah, I'd probably go see that. I don't know about the Chevy metal thing. I don't know what's and
Yeah.
I would be afraid if I attended that show that Radke's going to tap me on the shoulder.
Go, hey, you're here. You're an accessory to something.
Are you a sympathizer with Mr. Woods?
Yeah. Ugh.
Poor guy. I mean, if he's innocent, that's a bad cross to bear, but he hasn't said shit about it. Nothing's really else has panned out. So,
Yeah.
I think there was someone said there's a video of the girl who actually told her story, which I've yet to
I've not seen
unearth
that.
on the internet. I'm going to have to dig that out. I saw a comment saying that there's a video that
There is a photo of, I think, Radke driving one of those Tesla trucks. What are those called?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Manson's riding shotgun, who is friends with, or at least acquaintances with Ed Truck. So that was kind of interesting.
Interesting.
But I don't know.
So yeah. So and then some other more recent news I saw: Nikki Sixx wants to live to be 100. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're haven't got your fill of Frankie Ferrana's alter ego Nikki Sixx and his Just for Men goatee and hair and wig.
Well, that's a wig.
He's definitely
I mean,
he's a bandana guy like
Yeah.
me. Yeah. So that's how it's the first indication that's a wig.
Yeah, it's a wig.
And then, but I mean, I want to say, but to do what, Nikki? Because Vince obviously can't even right now. He might not have a tour next year or next month. I don't know. This guy has got some health issues, as you were claiming. So because they canceled the thing in Mexico, right? That's out.
Yeah, that's off. Yeah, that's not
off.
happening.
Yeah. So I think he said they were trying to get ready for a residency, and I'm thinking, is that residency even been announced?
I don't think so.
No,
unless
so
unless
when
it
would
got
that be?
scrapped. I don't know. Probably next spring. I'm guessing.
Yeah, man, that's what. Yeah. So my point is, Frank. I mean, you want to live to be 100. Everybody's got goals, but you most certainly can't be playing Motley Crue music when you're 100 years old.
Well, that's the thing about.
Well, I guess you could if it's all plugged in.
Yeah, if it's all pre-recorded. I mean, he could be a corpse and they prop him up there on
like
stage.
Frankie Valli. They'll
Yeah,
put him on the little stand and just
So-
he'll just.
So I don't no Deadpool casualties this week, so we'll be keeping track at
we're
least
waiting.
up to date.
Yeah.
But
Although
Britney Spears, remember, she
was
had a
in the news,
meltdown on
yeah.
a plane, and she's worth a few points at age 43.
Yeah, that's a lot of points right there.
That's a
I'd have
lot
to
of
get two of
points.
my seniors to fall off my list to even try to get close to that.
You
So,
might nickel and dime it with some of these 70.
Yeah, these old.
80-year-olds.
That's what I was banking on. Some of these guys with these senior health issues that you can't be pushing too much longer. But, yeah, that's no one's gone down yet. But what Brittany is in the news for reasons that would make us all feel, like her. She's still on that downward spiral.
Like her demise is coming.
imminent.
Oh, Jesus.
Someone
That's
better grab a
horrible.
hold of that and figure that out quick because
And Don Drunken is still alive, so he's not worth as many points, but I mean his day's coming.
Well, I keep saying him and Glenn Tipton both to me look like they're, month by month, it's getting worse and worse. That last video with Priest, you could really tell that Tipton's just like, I mean, he's the hand is just not even making barely make a bar chord for you guys.
Right.
So, he's like standing like a statue almost. They had propped him up for that video. So, him and there's a couple guys there that I feel bad for, but the reality is that you can't. I mean, you just know that there's no medical answer to some of these things. So
No. And Vince, I mean, what is happening with Vince? I mean, he's on my list. I think he's on your list too, right?
Yeah, no, Vince didn't make my list, but he probably should have. I had Nick Mars on the list.
So that means if he goes, Oh, fuck.
But Nikki did say it was health related, which made me to believe this is not a weight loss chosen or a face surgery. I want to get some lipo or something. No, this is a health issue. So that might explain those two photos me and you shared where Vince looks a little bit Like a
Right.
lot less going on in that
Mm-hmm.
midsection and a little bit gaunt. Looks like there's some loose skin, and I don't know, his color looks a little weird. So hopefully the
On a
guy's okay, but
on
I
on a
don't know.
scale of 1 to Aiken, what's his color?
He looks like Aiken. I mean, the color looks very similar to
Yeah,
Aiken's
it's
color.
a
Two guys
fucking
who are
pale. That
ingested
yeah.
too much into the belly, and it's not
Oh,
processing right.
you know,
So
Aiken's got that look. I don't know if you've ever saw the that Walking Dead show, but it's like right after they got bit and they die, it's got that
yeah,
fucking gray
that
fucking skin.
gray.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's fucking awful. I'd go see the doctor
Yeah.
if I were him.
Yeah, and so I'll be honest with you. The reason why Frankie slash Nikki can live to be 100 because he never did heroin. It was
Oh,
all
right.
bullshit. That's all fucking. That's the
Probably
reason why he
was.
looks like. Yeah, that's the reason why he's not
I don't.
suffering like Mick and Vince and Tommy. Even
I don't
he doesn't have as much wear and tear because it was all horse shit. He was
I
over here
for,
taking notes and then making up stories.
I forget about the discussion. I think you know. Remember, I chit chatted with Tom Werman on Memorial Day, and Nikki came up, and I forget what I said, but it was something to the effect that he was like the first drug addict with this impeccable kind of fucking memory. And he goes, I forgot what his response was, but it was like, yeah, interesting, huh? Or something like that. Yeah, it was kind
Because
of like he's not
most
buying it either.
people, yeah, no one is, man, no one is, and so the other thing is, I should say, as what in Nikki's favor here, he needs to stay healthy. He needs to live
Mhm.
to be 100 because Matthew Tripp died and he can't
He
substitute
can't
in
get him
anymore.
again.
He can't fill in when you need a night off there, Frank. So you got to stick around. I think T-Bone's going to be on the drums for a while. So we'll see whether Vince can hang in there. And you got John 5 going nowhere as long as you're cutting the check. So Motley Crue will probably still be on the horizon somehow, some way. But on that note, I saw
Yeah.
that John Corabi is going to make another solo album, even though he's in the Dead Daisies. So it's not just John Corabi might be like one of the
Yeah.
hardest working dudes in the music business.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean, he just never stops. It doesn't seem like whether it's with this band, that band. But, I mean, when he didn't have a gig in the 90s, he's playing rhythm guitar and rat to get the paycheck and keep touring and doing this. I mean, just never, the idea of
Yeah.
stop doesn't seem to be on his radar.
And that's probably not a bad idea. I mean, you see some of these guys that enter retirement and then they're miserable and go right back at it.
And then
And
sometimes when they go back out, they're
Yeah.
not nearly the condition they
They're
were
not-
before because
yeah,
they took
they're
a bunch
not-
of time off.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the fact that they're out of, I mean, not out of shape, vocally out of shape or something, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not doing it night in, night out, and getting rest in between, and they sit
There
around
is
for
something to
6
be
months.
said for the
Yeah.
routine of being a working gigging musician. When you get off that routine, it is harder. It becomes slightly harder and harder to get back on that routine when
Mhm.
you need to. But I was saying that because Frank, if Vince can't make
Oh,
the
yeah.
cut, there's only one other guy who's ever actually held a vocal mic
Right.
in your band.
But
So,
do you really want to see him in the band with? Because that's the one thing about John Five. Huge John Five fan of his solo stuff. He better fit with Zombie. Not a great fit in Motley, I don't think. Not whether it's play as a player or just the look. He just doesn't look good in that band.
well, but what we would be speaking of is in a situation where, let's just say, God forbid, that Vince
Yeah.
is no longer able for whatever reason. Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's got health problems. Can't stand. Can't walk. Can't sing. Can't do something. Like, are they really going to get some person who's completely unknown, like the Arnel Pineda route? Because I think that could be disastrous. It could be aces, but it could be disastrous.
What if they got Dolly
I was just
Parton?
thinking in my mind the more reliable option of someone who's actually held the microphone in your band
Yeah,
before, and the guy
right.
who's still out there playing in Dead Daisies and doing solo albums and being productive and still has his voice and still has the ability to do what he needs to do to be the front man is out there. I'm just saying. So
Right.
I don't think John would want to do it either. That'd be a
No.
lot of zeros on the back of that paycheck to make him want to sign up for that. So
Yeah, to put up with Nikki again. Ooh.
yeah. I don't blame him. Again, that's why they had to pay John 5 so much because again, he probably looked around the band and was like, "I got to deal with Frank Verona." Okay, gotcha.
Oof.
How much was that? How much is that check?
Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know that again. There's something about John Five in that band that's making me less of a fan of his shit when he does solo stuff, whenever that may be. But yeah, I don't know.
I got to be honest with you. Was not really a fan of John Five solo. Nothing against him. He's a great guitar player. I kind of actually liked what he did when I saw him with Marilyn Manson was where I
Mm,
saw him, and then later with Rob Zombie. I think I saw
right,
him one time
right.
with Rob Zombie. But yeah, I always felt like he was because his
Hmm.
motif or whatever fit those bands and the goth and the whole it worked, But I don't
Yeah.
Motley Crue. I didn't really understand why they went there, but I can't say he doesn't sound good. He does play the songs pretty
Hmm.
note for note like Mick would. I mean, it just doesn't sound like Mick because it's not Mick. But yeah, I don't know. That's all, just things I was thinking of when they were talking. Because, you never know that I'll make the assumption that Vince is gonna be right back out there in a couple of months on stage, and that might not be the case. And if that wasn't the case, what would they do? Where would they go?
Right.
And on top of that, now that I think about Motley Crue, very clear, they weren't the band that was not invited or invited but
Right.
uninvited to the back to the beginning. Nikki made it clear it was just health reasons. Vince wasn't available, so they couldn't do the show. So
Hmm.
who's the band? Who's the band, Ruben? That narrows it down
Who's the
to
band? I don't know.
Maiden or Megadeth, right?
I don't think it's Maiden. I think Maiden. I think had their tour already lined up.
Or
I don't know. There's been people saying Soundgarden, maybe, but I don't. Who's their manager? Because she was
who's their
specific.
singer?
Yeah, and
Are they
she
gonna
was
bring that chick?
specific about that was the manager that kind of helped implode it. So I don't know. I mean, I
I don't know.
have no
Yeah.
idea.
I'm still betting Mega Dave. I just see
It could
Dave
be.
and whoever he's got being too complicated with the Metallicas and the Slayers on the bill. I could see him saying, I don't think I belong there. And they're going to go, nah, that's where you belong.
Right, or I think just any bad mouthing going into that, because all the bands involved, nobody said anything disparaging about anybody else, and they all seem to get along pretty well. I wouldn't put past Sharon to have invited Jake just to stick it to trunk. I mean, would all you need to do is pay his accommodations in a flight, and he's there just to stick it to him. Same with Ellefson. Maybe got Ellefson to stick it to Dave.
Very possible. I think, yeah, case by case basis. I also was thinking, like we mentioned Bob Daisley before. He said in a really recent interview, just like last week, right after the Back to the Beginning, he gave his kind of take on the whole thing. But he said he wouldn't have gone even if he was invited. So there was probably no point in for them inviting him. They knew he wasn't going to show up at his age. He wasn't going to fly all the way over there
Yeah,
and
I
do all
think
that. Yeah,
with
so-
him it's an age thing. And I have that
yeah.
fucking book that he has. It's like a Bible, but
Mhm.
and it cost a bundle to ship it because I think he's in Australia.
Australia. That's what he
Australia.
made the point of. He was not
it
going to
got
make a flight
shipped
from
by
Australia all the
it
way to
got
Birmingham.
shipped from Australia, and I was just like, fuck. You know what that cost to mail. It almost cost as much as a damn book.
It does seem, if you're in the music business, kind of cost prohibitive to be based out of Australia, unless
Yeah,
your
right.
only market's going to be Australia.
What if you're in
So-
excess? If you're in excess,
Yeah,
and you
well,
have
we have to ask. Well, my sister is married, so or cousin or whatever it is,
cousin
there's
or
some
whatever.
relative.
I
don't know. I've never.
You're a Ferris by
I don't.
marriage or
I
something.
don't. That's part of the family that wouldn't want to talk to Evil because I was not really a fan even when Michael Hutchins was alive. So I'm good. That was another one of those bands that I would say my brother seems to act like it's not kind
Yeah.
of fruity, but it is. Like you
Yeah.
like all this stuff. And you like In Excess.
Yeah, in
I
Chicago,
don't. Thank you. So,
Men at Work.
but yeah. So but the point I was trying to make was so I think some of those are case by case basis. Maybe like even if Ozzy had wanted to have Bob Daisley, he might have got it for him. Bob's not coming out of Australia to come up here to do that. Even if we were to make amends and do all this, blah blah blah. Jakey, on the other hand, maybe I think Ozzy, and it might just maybe I'm just being optimistic, but I think maybe Ozzy really truly wanted as many of the ones he could get that had a hand in his Zach's there, and he's got the
Right.
Mike Inez was there, and he's got Jakey there, and if Randy Castillo was alive, probably would have been there. These guys, some guys that I think Ozzy probably did want to have
Right.
And that's, respect to Oz. They could have got Clufetos, but no, they got Bill Ward and said, we're going to do it. The four guys that started this shit, if we're going back to the beginning. So, maybe Ozzy did have some way of saying, I,
Right.
I want it this way or that way. And some of this, I'm sure Sharon still manipulates, but
Sure.
in the end, it's Ozzy's gig. It's not a tribute to Sharon. It's a tribute
Sharon.
to Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tribute to Oz. So he probably had to have something saying who's actually going to get this fucking show and be backstage in my catering, in my fucking dressing rooms, and on my stage.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it did make me wonder who the other band was because, we know Judas Priest, Rob said they were on tour, dates conflicted. Otherwise, they would have been there to pay tribute to Sabbath.
Right.
And obviously Nikki's now come out and said no, they would have been there had Vince's health allowed them to do that. So
Yeah, it could have very well been Megadeth and or Soundgarden, I guess. I mean, it just leaves those two bands.
yeah, because again, I'm with you. I don't even think Smallwood or Dickinson's even entertaining the idea of going anywhere near a Sharon Osbourne event. And the only one I could think of was I could just see Mustaine saying Hetfield's here, Tom and Carrie are here, and I got to be where.
Yeah.
And so, and maybe, if he had any wind that Junior was going to be in this, maybe he was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but so interesting times, but it's still a good event in the end. And it's interesting the CMS kind of went through some coverage like we went through some, but everyone's in the rock industry is covering. I'm sorry, Ed Trunk, that you couldn't be there. Florentine did a fine job in your stead, and there will be plenty more events where I'm sure Ed Trunk is in the Scorpions movie with a wig on. So we have a lot to look forward to.
And he has Rocklahoma coming up, and then
does he get to get like a SAG AFTA type thing?
I think he does. I think he does. But
that's smart,
but I
man.
wonder if this is going to be like one of those straight to Pluto. It's going to be a straight to Pluto or a Hulu or something kind of movie.
Like that.
It's not going to be out.
And
in
it was done in Germany too, so I don't know what maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. But let's just put this out there right now. If anyone needs a biker brother for a movie or a TV show, Evil's right here available because I have no problem floating down to Los Angeles and donning my shit for a Sons of Anarchy and showing them what a biker would look like. So
yeah,
I'm available.
Yeah.
My acting chops are a little rusty, but I can tune them up for you guys.
Right.
Well, I'm no dumbass. One time I heard Jesse Ventura say the smartest thing he ever did was be in Predator because it got him all the health benefits and all the stuff and the checks that still come to this day from being in this movie that's foul and it still gets rerun somewhere.
Right.
So somehow I gotta go cash this for free 35 years later. So and that's from a guy who was a governor and a wrestler and a this and a that. And he said the thing that paid the best and probably was the smartest decision was acting.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, would make sense why Mr. McNabb is out there doing Sons of Anarchy and all that stuff because it's just a smart diversification to have multiple ways to make an income, man. So
Right.
Brother Neely needs to find a way to step away from the dock and get himself into some. Although, would he be able to read the cue cards and memorize the lines? I don't know how well he. I don't know how well he would enunciate his words, Ruben.
Yeah. That's true.
Director goes, cut.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
That's right. Now spell that word.
Yeah. So, but anyway, lots going on still in the rock world. I saw a few other news and them, but nothing that's really piqued my interest. And we'll see how the CMS wraps up. Did you hear? Was there anything blocking them from doing a show next weekend by chance?
No, not that I heard.
No Dawkins shows that need tending to.
But we do know that there's a Dawkins show. Let me see what. I think it's in 2 weeks. I think it's on the 26th. So there's not going to be a show. I think they'll wait and mention it next week and go, oh, by the way, no show next week. Or Neely will probably say, unless you want to do a show, Chris, and he's going to go, nope.
Yeah, no, I don't think Egan's doing solo shows unless he gets drunk John Drake on the air with him. But
I think that was pretty terrible. I mean, that wasn't even worth the effort.
I don't think anyone gave any positive reviews upon those shows, so you don't see too many. They're pretty few and far between when something like that happens. One last thing I should mention, we talked about a little bit off the air here, but man, I'm kind of disappointed. Again, you mentioned multiple tours that I probably would go check
Oh,
out
yeah.
that just won't even come anywhere north of California.
Right.
And it's like Idaho, Washington, and Oregon aren't even on a map. And
Yeah. Well,
it's sad because, like in the case of Queensryche, that
Yeah.
Seattle's your
Northwest.
hometown. You think you would bring Accept up to Seattle and do a gig there.
Right.
Portland is a couple hours south. You think you'd be stopping in there on the next night or whatever. So was disappointed because I would definitely love to see Accept in Queensryche. I think that would be a great double bill. So yeah, to have to
Right.
go all the way to Southern California was the closest one. That's a long ways away, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's that one. I think there's a handful.
you think it's
others.
economics, or is it just not getting the date with the proper venue, or then
I think it's
promoted
probably
in-
something about either they don't get the proper venue when they get a particular venue. They're probably like, oh fuck that, we don't want to go there. But there's 4 tours, probably 5. There's another one that I can't think of right at the moment. But there's the Carcass show tour, Fear Factory. You mentioned Reich and Accept. That's, it's just a no-brainer. You do Northwest dates, but they're not. And then the Buck Cherry and Michael Monroe. I mean, they're not even hitting Northwest either. So I'm like, what the hell?
I would definitely check that out too.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple other ones that I can't think of offhand, but those are the ones that I'm like, man, all those bands typically play the area. Reich always plays in the Northwest, plays Portland. Buck Cherry always hits the Northwest. Fear Factory always plays Portland, and so does Carcass. I mean, I in the last, I don't know, 7-8 years, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that band, either supporting or headlining, and they're not doing it this time.
Yeah, and Portland and Seattle seems like prime cities for venues and dates and those places.
So who knows?
And before we wrap up here, I will say one thing. Again, if y'all don't listen, go put on Mighty Fine Lady by Firehouse. It's on Spotify and YouTube now, all the platforms. They dropped it everywhere. And that fucking song rocks, dude. It might be one of the best songs of the summer
yeah.
so far, in my opinion. I mean, it sounds like classic Firehouse. There's like, you could just throw it right in there with their hits and you would not, it sounds right in step. So go check that out because it just rocks. Go put it on one time. You'll hear what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A band that actually released something new with a new singer and lived up to, in my opinion, the old sound and qualities there, and it kicks ass, man. So, yep.
There you are.
All right, y'all. So, I think we're going to wrap it up here for today. Hope you guys enjoyed Greg Walker from Blackfoot and
Skinnerd,
Wolf, which by the way,
Tool
go
Wolf.
check out Tool Wolf. Yeah, that's right up Evil's alley. Like Evil almost put on some Tool Wolf and was like, "Man, I could see myself on the docking bike."
Oh yeah, riding to a biker
So,
rally.
yeah. So that they're right up my alley. So yeah, check that out. We'll get back with y'all next week, and we'll see.
Yeah.
We won't make any announcement. I'm trying to
Yeah.
work some things out.
Right.
We'll see how it's playing out. I have some messages out with some other guests that even my co-host doesn't even know yet. So we'll find out which ones might pop
Is it
in.
Lou from the Lou?
No. Although I would, if he's out there, him
Or
Barden,
Barden.
people, the ultimate, the holy grail for the wrap up show would be to have Doghouse and the real Jeff Tate. So again,
yeah.
if anyone out there, just
geez.
put a comment on one of our videos, an email address, the name for social media, a phone number I could text. I will reach out to the man. But there's just a couple. I'll throw them to you off. There's maybe a band or two you have or haven't heard of, or maybe one that you might want to. You haven't heard of, but you might want to hear of. And I just threw it out there to them, saying, "Hey, we're doing this show, and come on and pump your stuff and tell
Is
them
it
who
Sean
you are and what you do."
McNabb?
No, one of them's
Oh.
a chick band. I don't think you
chick
might not even
band.
be familiar with. They're out of Minneapolis. I'll send you a link, and they're just a cool rock band.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, all right.
Right on, y'all. We will be with you next week. Let's see what the CMS does next week, and we'll see what rock music news brings us.
Yeah.
Until then, bye, kids.
Bye.
Raise your horns